Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Richard here with another episode of the Die by the Sword podcast. We went a little bit long on this recording, and we had enough material, we decided to cut this into 2 separate episodes. So, a little bit different than what we've done before, but we hope you like it. A quick shout out to the wonderful people at Midnight Syndicate for letting us use their fantastic music to set the mood for our show. Give them a listen at www.midnightsyndicate.com. And another shout out to Sword Coast Soundscapes for letting us use the wonderful sound effects that we use for the show. Give them a listen at youtube.com/swordcoastsoundscapes. Well, that's enough for me. Let's get on to it.
Welcome back to the Die by the Sword podcast.
Yeah!
Hooray!
Episode 4.
4.
So, how do you feel, Vivian?
We're not going to talk about Vivian right now. I'm not ready to step into Vivian's shoes yet.
Oh.
Stuff has gone down.
Yeah, we got a lot to catch up on.
Okay.
So what happened last time?
Vivian had a bad time.
Yeah, Vivian did have a bad time.
She had a bad dream.
Very bad
Or
dream.
was it a dream?
Or was it?
So we had one hell of a breakfast,
Oh, man.
and then we went to go to, apparently the Harrowstone Memorial was vandalized, and we found out it was vandalized through rat blood. We were able to determine by the corpse of a dead rat nearby. They weren't very subtle.
There's that.
And there was a letter V. It was on one of the smaller
was on
stones
the
that had like the
first
names
stone.
of the.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's 5 stones, the statue, and then 5 stones. And it was on the first.
The first stone. Yeah. And Thurskill saw his name on a tombstone.
Yeah,
That was
what-
earlier.
yeah,
That was the day
that.
before.
That was the day before, but I want to be part of the
Yeah.
scariness.
Yes.
So you saw that, and then
Zenobia.
Zenobia, I was about to call you Thelo, your other character. Zenobia saw the tracks.
Yes.
So the
Yeah.
tracks of apparently some
cart.
old prisoner past being carted to the prison.
And we thought the V might stand for the wife, the
Whose
warden's
name
wife.
was Vesoriana
Vesoriana.
Hockren.
But it occurred to us after doing our research in the professor's library, it occurred to Vivian first, I must say, that the V stood for Vivian. Dun dun dun!
Yeah, so this was the Splatterman, right?
Yeah.
He spells out the names of his victims one letter at a time each night, and the night or the night after the final letter is found?
It's the night after.
The night after the final letter was found, he murdered them.
Ugh.
Not that many letters in Vivian.
There's 5.
Yeah, it's not a 9-letter name.
Vivian's pausing now. She's like, wait a minute.
Yes.
Did you actually get the math right on that one?
Accidentally. No, her name's actually Vivian Western
Western
Styles.
Just get one of those hyphenated names. Then he has to do the hyphen too. That's an extra character.
Right?
So yeah, we learned more about each of the notorious prisoners. We learned a lot about Harrowstone, and it was awful. What a horrible... The whole thing was horrible. The people that were there,
They
fire,
were prisoners. They were criminals.
the fire situation, the whole setup of why the wife had gone there, and how she died, and it was just awful. But yeah, so just kind of a review. We've got Father Charlatan, who was a con artist, and then there was the Mosswater Marauder. Yeah, and he murdered his cheating wife with a hammer, and he's continuing to look for his wife's skull fragments. And then
he couldn't find a couple of pieces of his wife's skull.
Yeah, he was missing the pieces.
And then the Piper of Ilmarsh would paralyze his victims with lich dust. Ew. And then he'd kill them by letting his pet sturges, which are like gross mosquitoes, big ass mosquitoes, like Jumanji mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Jumanji
suck his
mosquitoes?
blood.
Sounds like it's a qualified, like gigantic mosquitoes.
There's the advanced template, and then there's the Jumanji template.
That is a Jumanji sized war cat over there. I don't know. I'd lost it.
Yeah, that's correct. That's how the template works.
And then there was the Splatterman, who was a professor who was into name research, but then he got had a run-in with a succubus, and he's fascinated at what happens with people's names, and what happens with their names is they die. Dun, dun, dun. And those are my notes. I'm pretty proud of them.
Yes.
So we had
That's only 4.
no that. Oh, Lopper.
The Lopper.
beheaded with hand axe, is what I wrote.
He was the least interesting. He just beheaded people.
I mean, she doesn't have a whole lot in her notes. In her notes.
His name was Vance Satrussi, and he killed people with an axe, and that's why they called him the Lopper.
Because he
lopped people's heads off.
Some people thought he was a looper.
Yeah, and we're doing all this research because we're here. The professor left us an inheritance, but we had to spend 30 days with his daughter Kendra and keep an eye on his books. And he threw his journal in with the book so we'd read what he'd been up to. And he was very worried about what's going on at Harrowstone with the Cult of the Whispering Way.
Oh, because they're looking for someone, and we think it's one of these people.
Yeah, they're looking for someone. We think it's probably one of these prisoners, and or the ghost of one of these prisoners. And he was very concerned about it, but he wasn't able to finish his work because he died. But he was hoping we'd be able to pick up where he left off.
So last episode ended so scary. I do want to. I'm excited to jump into it, but I'm also terrified. So I want to distract a little bit longer.
Okay.
I've been thinking about the books, and I've been thinking about the Eye one.
The Manual to the Esoteric Order of the Palatine Eye.
And four out of 5 of us here have played the Pathfinder playtest. I really didn't realize that was something, and that the thing between the stars, the darkness between the stars.
The Dark Tapestry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't I thought all of that was written for the playtest. And so I'm finding it really interesting to be jumping into this one, since we have a little bit of background of that information.
And this was written way before the playtest, so
yes,
we're seeing the origination of...
Yeah.
Or maybe not the origination, but one of the earliest renditions of these concepts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like for the first time for me, because I don't pay attention usually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you there.
So it's all new?
It's all
I'm
new.
with you,
Yeah.
But I think I vaguely remember, because I know at the playtest, each of the adventures we'd go on in the playtest were taking place around the time of an adventure path.
Yeah.
And I think I remember one of them being Carrying Crown.
It was the second adventure where you guys were fighting the Gnolls.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. With the
Oh, no, wait.
no.
No, I don't think that's right. I think that was the something of fire.
I
don't know.
Legacy of Fire.
I think that was Legacy of Fire. No, I think one of
I
them.
think you're
Anyway,
wrong.
Philip's bored. We need to move on.
That's not me.
Oh, it's Mother's board.
Okay, so the one person who didn't play that adventure is bored with us talking about that adventure.
She's not bored. She's just old.
But it might be interesting for newer players to see how even these things are correlated into the playtest.
Yeah, Mom.
And
Yeah.
Pathfinder 2.0.
I think it's fun.
I thought it was fun. I thought it was exciting to be like, oh,
Bunch of nerds.
I knew something about that.
We didn't finish the playtest. It was too hard.
Yeah.
Last thing about our playtest adventure was the fact that the one where we had to venture across the land, and we were all
small
gnomes.
Well,
we
it was 3 gnomes and a dwarf.
It was 3 gnomes.
Took generations.
It was 3 gnomes and a dwarf, and Richard was
Overland
DMing.
travel speed was a very important factor to that adventure.
Yeah, we were on a time
and they
limit.
had the classes that could walk the slowest.
And I was like, couldn't we get horses or camels or something? And Richard's like, oh yeah, you could have. And it was just like, why didn't we?
I genuinely wanted to see what happened. I was just curious.
Power of the GM.
Well, I'm testing the mechanics, and yes, you should have used a pack animals. In retrospect, a lesson was learned.
It was pretty funny that the tallest member was Philip as a dwarf.
Yes.
Speaking of tall and short, we're talking about Thorskill being short for a barbarian, but he's 5'10". That's an average height. That's not short.
It's average for nowadays. You know what? Even back then, it'd be taller.
That would be tall for like a medieval.
Yeah, but
setting.
everyone here is over 6 feet, right? You're 6 foot. You're 6 foot.
No, she's 5'11".
11. I'm an inch taller.
She's still taller.
It's her hair.
He's the shortest person in the party, but he's still probably taller than most of the people he runs across.
It's true.
Speaking of which, I've recast him. He's no longer Michael Fassbender.
All right.
Yeah.
He is now a gentleman named Kyle Hill. If you watch YouTube, he's on the Nerdist channel. He does Because Science. I chose him because he looks like a little baby Thor.
Yeah, he's skinny Thor, right?
Skinny Thor.
And so this is the really jarring season 2 where they bring him in again, and it's a completely different actor, and you're just supposed to pretend that you don't notice.
Exactly. Yes.
It's not
yes.
even season 2.
Yeah. It's like the episode after the pilot.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He didn't survive the pilot, so.
But they kept the pilot because they spent so much money on it.
Exactly. They just did some reshoots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Over his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Here,
Okay.
wear this wig.
Look at this wig. Okay. I think I'm ready to face Vivian's fate.
Are you in a good mental state?
Absolutely not.
You shouldn't be.
Gary, I am such a sucker for when the story revolves around me.
Imagine my shock.
Right?
And even if horrible things are going to happen to her, it's all good. But I'm interested to see. This is obviously going to affect Vivian severely. She's a very rose-colored glasses kind of girl.
Well, it couldn't have happened to a more appropriate character.
Right?
Seriously.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer girl.
Because there just isn't a nicer girl.
Not in this party, no.
Not in this party. Here's my prediction. She still won't want to kill stuff.
But we did this in our Rise of the Rune Lords campaign.
Yeah,
Where I centered the story of book 2
exactly.
around her character Ebony.
I like when Gary makes the story revolve around me.
Speaking of what happened to Vivian, what happened
What
to
happened
Vivian?
to Vivian? Yes.
So she had.
ODM.
So let me refresh my memory so I can get properly terrified again. So Vivian discovered that she was
The V.
the V for Vivian, Splatterman. No one would sleep with her in her bed, not sexually, just no one would cuddle with her to make sure she fell asleep all right. So she's in her room alone, and she woke up in a dream where she was in a prison cell at Harrowstone,
Mm-hmm.
and there was creepy laughter, and she saw her name begin to write itself on the wall in blood. She called out, "Splatterman," and there was creepy laughter.
Mm-hmm.
She tried to wipe off the blood in a panic, and it got all over her hands, and the name kept rewriting itself, and she was screaming. And I want to remind everyone that she was in a fabulous negligee while all this was happening.
Lots of marabou.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. I'm imagining sort of the Tiffany blue color.
You're gonna need a lot of OxyClean to get the blood out now.
Oh man,
Right?
Billy Mays. Maybe Billy Mays' ghost.
Billy Mays.
is in
Oh.
Harrowstone.
Billy Mays,
He's
go
Billy-
away.
Billy Mays is the hero of book 1.
It could work.
And that's all I remember. It was the dream part. I don't remember. Did she wake up?
She did. As she was, she looked around the room. She was in a cell at Harrowstone, no longer in her room. Saw the name being written and crawled up to what used to be her bed, but was now just a moldy pile of straw.
Gross.
Mm-hmm. Climbs on that to try to wipe her name off the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and the name just wouldn't go away.
She was like, no.
So she looked down at her hands. The blood was still in her hands. But then the room fades back into her room at the Lorimore residence.
It fades back. She doesn't
fades
like wake up.
No, it just slowly fades.
Ugh.
Fades back, and her name is still written on the wall above her bed.
Ugh. So she's gonna, if she wasn't already, she's going to continue to scream.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is she awake now? Like for sure awake?
She's awake, yes.
yeah, so she's gonna continue to scream, and she's gonna look at the wall for a minute, and then look at her hands, and she's gonna do that weird, that weird shock thing where it's like it doesn't really make sense in the moment, but it's like she's gonna run to the door, but she doesn't want to touch the door because her hands are covered in blood,
Mm-hmm.
and so she's just kind of like looking around, and then she's just like, and I imagine maybe she has some blood on her negligee already, so she's like, oh, okay, all right, fine, it's already ruined, and she'll like
Mhm.
grab the bottom of her nightgown to like open the door so that it's not bloody.
Well, you go toward the door. There's no door.
There's no door.
No door.
What?
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 I thought you said she was awake,
She's awake.
and there's no door.
There's no door.
Detect magic.
You don't see magic.
Is there a window?
There's the window. Yeah.
Okay, she runs to
It's
the
still
window.
barred, though.
Window? No. What the fuck, Gary?
What have you done?
Oh,
But while all of this is happening, cutting to everybody else.
Back at the house.
Back at the house. So the next morning, you guys wake up, plan to meet downstairs for breakfast as usual, but you notice that Vivian is not coming downstairs.
That girl.
Yes. So, I'm assuming one of you will go upstairs to check on her.
That would be me.
Okay. So you get upstairs, you go to where her room is, there's no door.
My question is, when you say no door, in lieu of a door.
Where a door would be, the wall just continues.
So I look at it, start hammering around to see if I can find where the door should be. Is there any difference in sound as I...
There's not. It looks and sounds as if there was never a door there.
oh.
But I can see that there's a room on one side and one and on the other, right?
Yes.
And can I get into those rooms?
Yeah, you can get into the rooms beside.
And I pace them out. Is the room gone? Like the 2 rooms that were on either side now meet in the middle?
No, it looks like there's still a space there.
So I call to the company. Say, guys, you need to come see this. Thorskill, put down that fork. Come on.
Thorskill needs no fork. He has his hands.
Bring your hammer, though.
Bring your hammer. Good idea.
So Roderick just kind of like looks around, confused and a little alarmed, and I guess leads the group up.
Okay, so you guys go upstairs, and especially when Kendra gets to the end of the hall where the room should be, she just stares at it.
Sense motive. 4.
Really?
Ooh, natural 1.
13.
13. Basically, you all think that she is genuinely shocked that there's no door there.
Kendra.
Hmm?
Wasn't there a door here?
Yes.
What have you done with it?
This is Vivian's room.
Yes, as I remember.
But where's the door?
You're asking me? This is your house.
Yes, I've lived here my entire life, and there's always been a door here.
So you do not have any experience with doors suddenly disappearing?
No.
Enough talk. I smash the door.
Where the door should be.
Where I smash where the door should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I rolled 15.
You hit the wall, and you bounce off the wall.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
What kind of sound happens?
Is it
You
hollow?
don't
Is it
hear anything.
solid? It's just
Does it sound like
just
rubber?
nothing.
To you, it sounds like you're hitting a wall, but Vivian hears nothing.
Mm.
Allow me to give it a try. So Roderick draws his warhammer, which he has slung on the left side of his waist, and he spends an arcane pool point to enhance it with magic.
Okay.
And it's glowing blue as his sword did previously, and he strikes at it, and I know it's an AC 5 to hit a stationary object. I definitely hit it with a natural 12. I'm going to roll damage, even though it's not going to matter, I'm
Mhm.
sure. That's a 1 on damage, so that's 5 points of damage.
You chip the paint a little bit, but that's about it.
What is happening?
I don't know. This is I've never seen anything like this happen before. And start yelling out, Vivian, can you hear us? But Vivian doesn't hear anything.
There's no response at all. She's stuck in there, and she's not responding.
What of the window?
What if she's dead?
Is there a window?
There should be a window, but it's on the 2nd floor.
That should be no problem.
They don't have ladders in
Ustalov.
Ustalov.
They haven't invented
I
them yet.
run out downstairs, and there's 3 windows. I don't see any disappearing window, and I just call out to Vivian!
No response.
Hold on. And Roderick gets his rope and grappling hook, which he has on him, and
Okay.
he-
Because everybody wears their rope and grappling hook to breakfast.
He's got a utility belt like Batman.
Well, as Roderick finally makes it downstairs, I'm assuming Thurskill just takes off first.
Yeah.
And then Roderick will follow behind. Thurskill brushes past one of the other villagers coming up to the door. But the villager sees Roderick and says, oh, wait.
What? This is very important. What do you need?
Well, I was going to let you know that we've found out more information about the vandalization at the memorial.
Oh, excellent. Yes, please tell me. Tell me what you know right away.
There's now 3 letters.
3 letters. What? This is only the 2nd day.
Yes, but there's 3 letters.
Okay, I believe you. This is
Okay.
confusing me though.
Yes, but it's the letters V, E.
And with that, like
S.
Roderick breathes a sigh with the second letter being an E. Okay, VES. Okay, thank you, sir. What is your name?
My name is Robert.
Robert. It's a good name. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
If you have anything else,
The guards there wanted me to inform the newcomers to the town that they were planning to set up a watch tonight to see if they could to figure out who was making the letters on the vigil.
excellent. Do they need our help in any way?
Yes, they want you to be there.
Absolutely. We will. Thank you very much. You're a good man.
Thank you. Is there anything I can help with?
Do you have a ladder?
I think I saw one around the corner by the barn.
And Roderick's holding his grappling hook. It's like, well, I guess we can do it that way.
Yeah, I run to get the ladder.
Okay.
What is the wife's name again?
Yes. So Roderick was waiting. He was like not wanting to go into full detail with Robert still there, but he says VES. That is clearly Vesoriana Hawkrent. She was the wife of the warden when Harrowstone burned. She was the person we had assumed it was initially, and it seems that it was her after all. It was not Vivian.
Are you coming to help me with this ladder?
Yes, I will be right there. I'm sorry.
Oh. Robert runs back up. The guards also wanted me to ask you, where have you been the past 5 days?
But 5?
Yes, we haven't seen you around town.
We were at the crypt last night. We were at the Outworn Inn yesterday morning.
The last you were seen was 5 days ago.
Huh.
I'm gonna sense motive on this guy.
Okay.
12.
He seems to be telling the truth.
I don't know why I keep rolling it. 5. What is the date today?
It is the, I believe it's the 25th of Calistril?
The 25th. It should only be the 20th.
No, sir, it's the 25th. I'm fairly certain of that.
Gods, what is happening here? Kendra, have you ever heard of anything like this?
No, I haven't. I've never heard of something like this before. This would probably be something that my father would have studied, I would imagine, with his esoteric and arcane studies.
Okay, well, the first thing we should do is see if we can get Vivian out of this cursed room. The second thing we should do is dive through your father's works and see if we can find any clues.
Okay, I believe that's a good idea.
Why don't you start on that while we try and get Vivian out of the room?
Yes, I believe you are more than capable of dealing with this. I will run to the library and see what I can find. And so he takes off.
Okay.
How heroic.
Well, I have the highest intelligence of anybody in the group.
I mean, I guess
Well,
I can get it
la-di-pa.
myself.
So no, you're not helping Thurskill with the ladder, is what I'm hearing.
Zenobia's got it. She's a big, strong woman.
I'm still upstairs. I didn't run down with you guys. I don't even
So
know any.
he's
I don't
climbing
know
the
that
ladder
we've
by
lost
himself
5 days.
that he put up all by himself.
He's
Yeah,
very
so
strong,
when Roger
right?
comes in,
I'm very strong.
Zenobia, help Thorskill with the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
So I've already climbed up to the window.
Okay. So all of that is happening. Vivian, you wake up the next morning. The room is back to normal, except your name written in blood above the bed.
Yeah, all normal.
The blood's on your hands,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no door.
There's no door. She's gonna run to the window.
Okay. So you run out to the window.
And she's probably screaming. She's again just like, what is happening?
You see the bars that look like the bars that were in the Harrowstone.
Uh-huh.
They're there, but you can
they're
kind of tell
not.
they're not really there.
Oh, so it's almost like two planes crossing
Yes.
over.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
She's in two
Shadowing.
places at the same time.
Oh man, that's really cool.
So you can see them, and you go to reach, to
Uh-huh.
touch the bars. You can't get your hand past it,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't feel something
But
solid, but something stops your hand anyway.
Oh, that's so weird.
So you can't get past.
Can't get past the bars. Like I can't even touch the bars.
Mm-mm.
Well, she doesn't have any spells yet because she hasn't prayed.
Right.
That's probably the first thing I do.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, is there any knowledge I can roll? Can I drop some knowledge?
You know, knowledge planes, knowledge religion.
You could do knowledge religion.
I'm gonna try that because I think she's first going into survival mode. Which, by the way, my cats have made sure I lost one of my d20s. We heard a noise in the middle of the night, and we're like, what's that? Doesn't sound like anything broke. We'll check it out later. And it was the cats knocking all my dice down.
And rolling all night long.
Well, Vivian's very panicked, so that's an 11. It's a natural 3 on the die.
So you're not quite able to tell anything about this, but obviously you know it's otherworldly.
So she kind of backs away from the window and is just kind of looking around the room. She's looking at the blood on her hands. I think she's going to go back up to her name on the wall and try to wipe it off again. And because she remembers doing it in the dream and it rewriting itself, so she's going to, again, try to just wipe it off.
Okay. So she goes up to start wiping the name off. Gets more of the blood on your hands.
Ugh. Just
But-
whimpering.
But the letters still stay there.
Oh,
They don't
no.
rewrite themselves, but they don't fade away.
It's almost like an open wound.
So it's like they're continuously bleeding.
Yes.
Ugh.
Wow,
Ugh.
that's so creepy.
So you've got like this open wound on the wall spelling out your name. There's no door. Nobody's coming to help you.
I'm coming. I'm coming up the ladder.
I don't know.
Nobody's coming to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And you pray, you try to figure out what this is.
Yeah.
No help. You're spending so much time there that the sun eventually goes down.
Oh no. She would have stopped to try to, I think she'd probably just try to pray at that point, actually. And then she'd be casting Sanctuary and Protection from Evil.
Mm-hmm. So you're there protecting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Sun comes back up. Goes back down again.
Oh my god.
Is this like actual 24-hour days, or is it happening
Yes.
faster?
Vivian has experienced an actual 24-hour days.
Oh my gosh.
She is trapped in the room, awake, for 5 days.
Oh no.
Like I can't sleep. I could try to sleep.
You try
and
to
it doesn't
sleep,
work.
and you can't
Oh my
sleep.
gosh.
Wow.
Oh, she's definitely losing it by then. She's crying. She's probably trying to test her magic just to make sure it's working. Like she'll channel just to see the glow appear and stuff like that. Is any of her stuff in the room?
Yeah, she has all of her items. It's her room.
Yeah, so I think she's going to be trying different escape tactics. She's going to she's going to try to charge the window with her glaive. Bounces back and she flips backwards.
Is this like a master suite? It has a bathroom.
I was going to say, can she wash her hands? Does she have a water?
Yeah, so you probably have a...
Yeah.
So is the water
So-
from the material plane running into wherever the hell she
yeah,
is?
no, she doesn't have plumbing, but she has a pitcher.
wash
and a-
basin.
So she's gonna, so I think that first day is just full-on panic mode. Second day is exhaustion and crying. Third day, so she's awake, so she can't cast any new spells.
Correct.
Third day is she's gonna put her armor on and suit up, and I think she's gonna be basically rotating between charging at the wall and failing, trying not to break her weapon. In between trying to escape, she's also just going to be sitting and going through the holy text of Shaylin and just singing and just trying to keep it calm. She doesn't realize that her spells aren't, she's not sleeping, so her spells aren't resetting.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a flask of holy water. She's going to try to sanctify the room with that and go around and singing and doing blessings. She's going to throw some on the open wound. Does it sizzle or anything?
It does sizzle.
Does it go away?
Doesn't go away, but it sizzles.
And yeah, I think she's going to... Third day, she's praying, and then fourth day, I guess she'll probably start writing. What's happening, and start writing horrible, panicked poetry.
At least you can keep track of the days, because it's even worse if you couldn't.
She's gonna do, she's gonna write slam poetry.
There we go. This is where her bard levels come in.
The inevitable multi-class
Yes,
into
when
bard.
she comes out of this room, she'll be a bard. Yeah, I don't know. And I think by day 4 and day 5, she's just in shock, and she's probably sitting there, laying there, singing, but she's not, it doesn't mean anything anymore. She's gone basically living catatonic.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrifying, Gary. I'm totally terrified. I really thought she was just gonna be able to walk out and go to the Temple of Pharasma and
Be purified.
and move on with her day.
Well, this wouldn't be Carrie Ann Crown if that was the case.
That's something I want to bring up. You told us this was a horror adventure. I didn't understand what that meant.
Yeah, I'm exactly in the same boat. I didn't realize what was going to be happening until the end of last episode when you explained what was going on with Vivian. It's like, oh, this is going to be different than other Pathfinder
So when
adventures,
you said
isn't
horror, you meant horror.
It's not
Yes.
just that we're fighting spooky monsters. It's that
It's horrifying.
stuff's going to happen.
I like horror.
It's great.
It's fun to write and play.
It's great.
This
Well,
is
so-
all new to me.
So Vivian is armored up. I imagine her sitting under the window with her glaive across her lap, sort of in a meditative state, and just singing through the hymns of Shaylin. But eventually, she becomes more and more panicked, more and more crazed. She starts remembering that nursery rhyme, that jump rope thing that she was hearing, and she just keeps saying the lyrics related to the Splatter Man, And she just keeps repeating them over and over again. She's just like, drops of red so sparkling bright, splatter spells her name just right. Drops of red so sparkling bright, splatter spells her name just right. And she just keeps repeating it over and over again until it's just a drone.
So by this time, we've caught back up with the timeline of everybody else. Thorskell is able to get the ladder and bring it around to the window. He starts climbing up. And about the time he gets up to the window, Zenobia, you start noticing the door phasing into existence.
And I start shouting, "Door's coming back!"
She's very unflappable.
Well, I continue up the ladder. I'm going to go through the window. That's where I'm headed.
Roderick was running to the library, but upon hearing that, he's going to stop, like, kind of do that, and then start running back up the stairs.
Yeah. Vivian, give me a will save.
And I start pounding on the door that's appearing.
20.
All right. So for the first time in 5 days, you're able to hear Zenobia yell out to the rest of the group.
And I start pounding on the...
And what is it she hears but, door's coming back?
I got it back for you. It's like, Viviana, are you there?
She's sitting on the floor, kind of hearing this, or singing, and I think her eyes kind of flutter, and she looks at the door up that's now there, and she might be like, door's back. But she doesn't move. She's just kind of looking at the door.
Then behind you, you hear the rustling of the ladder against the window. And Thorskell climbing up.
She kind of looks up behind her, sees a man appear in her window.
A very attractive man.
Raises her glaive.
Do you like try to open it?
Yes.
Something?
Yes. Well, I see you. I mean,
Yeah.
I see you sitting there, and I'm calling to you, Vivian.
And she's just going to be looking at you like, oh, Thorskell. And she just kind of sits back and just keeps staring straight ahead and goes back to singing.
Well, do I see the door appear?
Yes.
Okay, so I climb into her room.
And I open the door, assuming I can. Is it
Yes.
unlocked?
It
at
is
this point?
unlocked.
I think as you guys start coming in, she's just, drops of red so sparkly bright, splatter spells her name just right.
So, I mean, I grab her by the shoulders and try and shake her out of it. Vivian!
What?
That's too loud.
Don't shout at her. You'll frighten her.
What?
She's just
What?
singing weird songs.
Thorskell. Zenobia.
And Roderick is like, he like kind of ran past, because I don't imagine Zenobia's as panicked as Roderick is, because she doesn't know that 5 days have passed.
Neither does Thorskell, because he was
It's
at
on the
barn.
ladder.
So Roderick's the only one who knows 5 days passed. So like as soon as you called for the door, Roderick stopped what he was doing and bolted right up. And like as you were walking into the room, he kind of like shoved you aside and ran past you to see what was going on with Vivian.
While you're shoving people out of the way, I go up to Vivian and I just pick her up and get her out of the room because I can see her name's on the wall. And I said,
Oh, can we see that?
y'all
You
need
can see
to check this out.
Y'all need to check
Y'all
this
need
out.
to check this out. I've come
She
from
said she was from the north, but apparently she's from the
apparently
south
I'm
too.
from the south north. What does that mean? Find out what kind of blood that is. And I get her out of that room and take
And then
her.
I think as you say that, she's like, and she kind of like rustles out of your hands, and she's like, it won't go away. And she like climbs on her bed and is like touching the wall again. She's like, see, it won't go away, and it won't go away. You can, you wipe it. It's there. And you turn around and she's just covered in blood again.
So
Does it
I
wipe?
grab
It
her.
wipes away, though.
Oh, so it's
So
wiped
let's
away.
get outta
and
here.
she's just covered in blood.
Now it's just you've smeared the blood across the wall.
And she sees that, so it wipes away, and she sees that, and she looks at her hands, and she turns around, and she's just like, tears. She hasn't cried in 3 days now, and tears just start welling up again, and she like clutches at her gorgeous negligee, and
I thought she was in her armor.
Yeah, she.
oh
said she
shit,
put her
yeah,
arm on.
she is. Okay, so now she's clutching at her armor, and there's just she's
But
getting
she's put
blood
on
all
over her
it.
gorgeous
Yes,
negligee.
yes.
Because that's the obvious undergarment for your
And,
armor is your negligee.
Obviously.
When
And-
haven't
You never
slept
know
for
what's gonna happen.
When you haven't slept for 3 days, you're not rational.
And she's 5 days. She's so she's clutching at her armor, and you can see there's just blood smearing across the breastplate, and she's just crying, wailing, not even really screaming, more of a whimper, just like
Is Kendra in the room?
Yes.
Go get a bath pulled.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Have your people draw her a bath.
Make it hot.
What people?
You're not rich?
I mean,
I definitely had the impression she was rich.
By
I
Raven
did
Grow
too,
standards.
because there was like people. I mean,
She has a
we all have
foyer.
our own rooms.
yeah. I mean, she's got a great house, but she doesn't have servants and stuff.
She's wealthy by Raven Grow standards, which
Yes.
is not the
So I
highest.
tell Kendra, go get a bath started, and I carry her into the bathroom, and we get her cleaned up.
Okay.
So
Get her a clean night negligee. I'm especially concerned about the armor,
Getting it clean.
getting it clean.
So Roderick, knowing he has information to share with everybody, first does the motions and casts detect magic, eyes glowing, does a sweep around the entire room, and any relevant knowledges he might roll to see if he can figure out anything about what happened.
Can do a knowledge arcana.
Damn, why didn't I do that?
15.
15. You're assuming whatever happened was a haunt, but you don't know what kind of haunt.
Of course.
She has to look terrible. Like, dehydrated, lost weight.
Do you have a sleeping potion, Kendra?
No sleeping potions, but I could make a cup of tea.
That's a good start. Can you send to the apothecary, and I want a sleeping powder of some sort.
Well, they don't have people, so we have to go ourselves.
I'm sending Kendra.
Well, she's drawing a bath.
She can't do everything.
Doesn't take her that long. While the bath is being taken, she can go get a sleeping powder.
Find a wizard who casts slumber.
Yeah.
Whatever.
She finds a scroll of
Father's a
of
freaking
sleep.
alchemist, and she doesn't have a sleeping powder. It's like, she's useless. I'm losing patience with her.
So as that conversation is going on, Roderick exits the room. He'd been examining Dorska, Zenobia. It seems that she was the victim of a haunt.
At least it was just one night.
It's funny you say that.
That's not funny. She was scared out of her mind.
You're so tactless, right?
That is the other thing I had to tell you. When I was speaking with Robert downstairs, it appears we have been asleep for 5 days.
No, we haven't.
I know that was my reaction too, but he seemed sincere. Apparently people have been looking for us.
We've been here the whole time.
Yes, apparently we've been here for 5 days. Asleep.
Nobody... I don't understand.
I don't either, but...
Do you guys have like 5 days of beard?
That's true.
That is a good question. How's our facial hair going?
Oddly enough, you look the same as when you went to bed.
How does Vivian look like 5 days have passed?
Yes.
Also, I mean, I already have facial hairs.
Yeah, Roderick has a beard too, but I mean, it could get longer over 5 days, but...
Not
So-
that much.
Zenobia, is your leg hair longer?
My nose hair grown.
She's
So-
from the north. She probably always kept her hair
We
long.
we should investigate further, but he seemed genuine. If there was a haunt affecting Vivian, there may have been one affecting the rest of us too.
Preposterous.
Did you have a dream? Did you dream last night?
No,
Not at all.
none. I feel incredibly rested though. Like I said, slept for 5 days straight.
So,
pretty fun.
was it
My
5
mouth
days
is
for...
really dry, though.
So it's 5 days for the town, but not us.
We must ask her what she experienced, but I do not believe she is in a state to answer right now.
Well, she's clean now. She's had a nice warm bath and a cup of tea.
She's
That was
been
very quick.
sanitized.
She's been sanitized.
When Kendra gets back, we must ask her if she experienced the same thing as
Yes.
we did.
Yes.
Kendra's back.
Did you get the tea?
Yes, she's already had the tea. I went to go get this.
Has it been 5 days again?
I went
Kendra.
I went to get the scroll of sleep so she could
Excellent.
sleep
Can
peacefully.
anyone cast it?
Roger,
Okay.
Kendra, what day is it?
It's the 20th.
And so Roger just kind of looks at Zenobia and
So you just
Go.
picked up the sleeping powder. What date did they put on the prescription?
You didn't pick up a newspaper while you were out?
was Kendra wasn't outside with me, right?
Get some powdered donuts?
No, she's not.
Kendra, I was outside
Sausage
speaking.
rolls.
Coffee.
Not kolaches. Kolaches are different from sausage rolls.
Thank you.
Zenobia makes clear.
Kendra, do you know Robert?
Yes.
Can you trust him?
As far as anybody else within the town.
Not at all, then, hey?
I spoke with him
I don't trust
just a few moments ago. He told me that it was the 25th of Kelstrel.
25th.
He told us that we have been missing for 5 days. He told us that the town has been looking for us.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yes, but the door missing in Vivian's room also doesn't make any sense.
And we know that she was visited by a haunt.
Yes, there may be an ambient haunt in the entire house, for all we know.
What? But there's never been any haunt activity in this house.
Are you certain?
At least in the 25 years I've been here, I haven't heard of any haunts.
That's a pretty good track record.
So it is, Roderick.
Sense motive. She's only 24.
I was going to do a sense motive, but it's an 8.
Let's roll it for the hell of it. 9, so that's a 10.
You're killing it with these sense motive checks.
I need to put points in that.
You're very trustworthy.
That's 16.
16. Yeah, she's telling the truth.
So, if it is indeed the 25th, then we have all been affected by some haunt, perhaps related to the one that affected Vivian. We must look through your father's work. Somebody needs to take care of Vivian and hopefully bring her back to her right senses. I will be in the library.
How many of those books did we open?
All of them.
Ugh.
Except the manual.
Because that one's locked.
Yes.
I'll take care of Vivian. I don't think I trust either one of you.
I wouldn't trust me either.
And I clean Vivian's, because I'm an armorer, among other things. I'm an armor expert.
You will need Roderick to cast the sleep scroll, though.
I understand that, but I want to talk to you.
Oh.
Well, so I've got you in my room.
Okay.
And
And Roderick, he holds the scroll. He's like, when you need me, just let me know. And
Yes.
he puts it on the counter and leaves.
so, because I talked to you about what happened, you tell me what you experienced.
I don't know if she's... I think she's still, at this point...
Well, then I'm asking you things like, do you know what happened? Do you remember anything about what has happened?
Harrowstone. Spider-Man. Blood. All the blood. It wouldn't go away. It's not gone. He's after me. Okay. He's after me. Vivian. 5 letters. 5 days. 5 days. No sleep. 5 days. I can't... No magic. Shaylin.
Roderick!
Shaylin.
Roderick, read the scroll right now.
Right, so he hasn't even finished coming down the hall yet.
She's continuing. She's like, drops of red, so sparkly bright. Splatter sells her name just right.
Alright, so he unfurls the scroll. He can cast spells at this level already, so he just automatically passes the check and poof, casts sleep on her. Now, by the rules, it only lasts, one round, but hopefully that's enough to kick her off to...
She's out like a light.
Yeah,
The scroll was the catalyst that, got her started, and then just the lack of sleep takes the rest.
yeah.
Is there a mechanic for exhaustion like that? Like, does 8 hours solve it, or do you have to sleep for, longer?
Yes, there is, in fact, an exhaustion mechanic.
But is there one for, does 8 hours solve it, or do you have to sleep for longer if you haven't slept for 5 days?
After 1 hour of sleep, you go from exhausted to fatigued, and then 8 hours of sleep to go from fatigued back to normal.
So it's just an hour
so
more.
you just need one full night's rest.
9 hours, not 8.
All right, so the scroll has been read, sleep has been cast on Vivian. She's now asleep. The spell lasts for a little bit, but then just her natural exhaustion takes over and she stays asleep. You know that she's probably going to need a full night's sleep in order to recover and get back into the correct mental state. But Roderick, you remember that Robert mentioned the guards wanted you to help them with their stakeout of the memorial.
Right, so, sort of Roderick's thinking, and he'll, kind of whisper it to y'all because he doesn't want to wake Vivian up. He's thinking that in whatever state Vivian's in right now, he thinks we should bring her with us to the watch because he doesn't want to leave her here in the house because of what just happened here in the house. So as much as she might not be up to standing watch tonight, it better for her to be with us than here in the house alone again, where she might get locked in another room again.
In this ill supported by servants, dangerous house. This house that is located on Lassie's farm.
Your house is now officially haunted. Sorry about that.
So, while Vivian is resting, what are each of you doing?
So, Roderick is very insistent on reading through all the professor's works, specifically about haunts and anything he could find that would relate to what's going on here. So, he's terrified to leave Vivian alone again, so he's maybe in the room, maybe just like outside in the hall with the door open because he doesn't want to accidentally wake her.
We're not in Vivian's room anymore. She's in my room.
Right. But Roderick doesn't want to wake her up with like him turning pages or like closing a book and opening another one. So he's like far enough away that sound may not wake her up, but close enough that he can still see.
Okay.
Say, if you're going to make so much noise reading, go sit in the hall.
Yeah. So he was in the room and she shooed him out. So then he went and sat in the hall instead.
Okay, so I'm sharpening the grave glaive using my own equipment. And I'm correcting all the nicks.
So you're telling Roderick that he's making too much noise turning pages of a book.
And I'm going,
Well, to be fair, he's muttering the verbal components of read magic.
well,
so.
and I can see like little poofy things, appearing from the pages. Get out of here. Don't we have a problem with haunts?
With all the lights and sounds going on,
get
just
on.
stop it.
It's like a
Just
pyrotechnic
stop.
show.
Right.
And I'm sorry,
crazy magic
honing a
people.
blade is not a loud thing.
It's like white noise.
It's almost singing.
Yeah.
As I get the chips out.
Oh.
So it becomes apparent that in the days that they've spent in this house, Zenobia hasn't slept in the bed. She's made
A pallet.
a pallet on the floor, but she's never slept in the bed. And you realize that she lives she was nomadic. She's not very interested in luxuries.
So she doesn't
Which is
sit on the
weird.
chairs at lunch.
Well, she does because she's been civilized by the professor. She's making an effort to overcome her barbarianism, but
There's nothing wrong with being a barbarian.
and she further fixes her eyebrows and thinks, yeah, there is.
Well, he tosses his golden locks and says, no, there's not.
So by the time she's ready to get up, her armor looks like nothing bad's happened.
There's no blood on it.
No blood on it.
It's nice and shiny.
Nice and shiny. Your weapon, which you've actually, because you remember I nicked it up the first day I met you.
You put it in the centipede guts.
Yeah, some blood at it. So, but it's clean now.
But I think you looked at it and it had more. Looked like it had, when you first saw it, it had been pristine. But if you looked at it recently, when you were cleaning it, it's like it's covered in marks.
Yes.
Like you hit a wall with it.
Were there any marks in the room?
Well, weren't you hitting the window so there wouldn't be...
I think
No, she was hitting where the door
I
was.
think she charged at both
Okay.
at different times.
Yeah, there
It
were
would make sense. Over the course of 5 days,
Yeah.
you would have plenty of time.
Were there any marks on Vivian's room?
no.
The only thing that was there was the blood.
Yes. So the 9 hours passes for the evening. During that time, Roderick, you've been so focused on reading about haunts, specifically in the professor's books, that go ahead and give yourself a +2 circumstance bonus on all knowledge arcana checks against haunts.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Yay.
That'll come in handy.
And around that time, Vivian begins to wake up on her own.
So Vivian's laying in Zenobia's bed.
Yes.
So yeah, I think her eyes kind of flutter awake, and she's
Where am I?
she's sort of slowly looking around, and I think she slowly sits up. She's finally gotten sleep, and so she's just kind of waking up and just like in her head. She doesn't say anything out loud, but she's just like, "What happened?"
That's what I wanted to know. What do you remember?
She just said that in her head. I just said that she said it in her head.
It's Novi with remarkable
Zenobia picked up psychic powers.
psychic skills.
So where are you in the room? So
I'm sitting viewing the bed so I can so you'll see me when you wake up. I won't frighten you. I'm not like looming over you, breathing on you heavily. Or anything.
so she sits up and she looks at you and she just goes, Zenobia,
Yes. You're awake now.
Yes.
You look better.
I feel better. It's been a long 5 days.
Do you remember anything that happened?
She kind of pauses and, like, clenches her eyes closed and just sort of nods her head shakily.
When I came in, I saw your name.
And she starts shaking her head, like, no.
I think you know what I'm worried about and what we're all worried about. I remember that song children were singing. I want you to know that we slept for those 5 days.
I wish I could have.
I understand. Well, let's get dressed. We've got a job tonight.
What?
We're going to go guard the...
What?
We're going to go out and we're going to confront... We're going to watch for what's happening at the memorial.
Where the V was.
Yes, what happened while you were gone was 2 more letters appeared on the memorial. An E and an S.
That's not...
That's not your
That's
name.
not me.
So we're going to go watch to see if we can catch whoever's doing this horrible thing.
Vivian kind of pauses and sits there a moment. And she's going to kind of shake her head and shake it more like she's trying to stop a thought from coming. But she says out loud, she says, I don't think that's related. I think that's of this realm. That was a rat's blood. Someone did that. That's not what happened to me.
It's as may be, but we've got a commitment as a troop to go watch for this, and we're not leaving you alone here.
Well, I don't want to be here, so that's fine. And I think she starts, like, shakily trying to get out of bed. She's like, She just breaks down again. She's just crying. She's just like, I don't understand. This isn't my home. I don't know any of you. In times of trouble, I go to church, and my goddess is not here. She's here, but she's not here. So, Pharasma, I have to go to the temple. We must go to Pharasma's temple. It's the closest thing here it's all I've got.
I'll go with you.
Thank you. And she's, like, frantically trying to put her clothes back on.
And as she's getting dressed, Roderick, overhearing the conversation, walks in. What happened to you?
Wait, I'm sorry, are you walking while she's getting dressed?
Before you start getting undressed.
Okay.
Roderick walks in. What happened to you was not your fault. You were a victim of a haunt. Sometimes they attack indiscriminately at anybody who happens to be around. Sometimes they're targeted. I have not been able to figure out what happened, but there's some powerful spiritual magic that affected you.
I think she's still acting kind of spastic and sporadic, so she's kind of going around and, I think she's looking for her clothes in Zenobia's room, but she doesn't know where anything is because it's not her room, so she's, like, opening a drawer and she's like, there's nothing in there, and
everything's empty. Zenobia has no luggage.
Yeah, and as she's doing this, she kind of, like, stops and looks. I imagine the room's kind of set up similar to the way hers was.
Mm-hmm.
And so she kind of looks at the wall where her name would have been written, and she looks at the window, and then she looks at Roderick and says, Harrowstone, I was there.
And he says, yes, whatever is happening to you, I believe is clearly tied to Harrowstone. And he does, like, that scenic, like, slinging a backpack over his shoulder. It's like, and we have to go to the watch tonight to see what we can find out about that.
No, but I was there. I was here, and I was there. It was like... And she's kind of, like, clapping her hands together. Like, it was like 2 places at once. It was like 2 planes.
Can I roll a knowledge planes?
Yes.
On that? Come on, baby. 16.
I told you she was writing.
Mm-hmm.
Did that come through?
Yes.
And so I think she's, that, and I don't know if you guys looked at her room. I don't know if you would have seen that already.
Well, sure, we would have looked at... I want to suggest, too, that somebody should have checked out what the blood was on the wall.
What kind of blood?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You guys are
how
terrible
would we even
detectives.
know that? There's no way that we would know that
You're the one with the heal skill.
Well, somebody knew it was rat blood.
because there's a dead
Yeah,
rat.
that was Vivian, because she rolled the heal
That was
check.
implied, then. That was implied.
So,
So before we leave, we make her Vivian walk back in and check out the blood on the wall.
Here, I know it's traumatic for you,
That's
but,
like-
lean her head really
Yeah.
close. Look at this.
So-
Tell me what you see.
Rubber nose.
so,
Don't do that again.
Well, so oh my god. So awful.
Throw her in the litter box.
So, she's kind of doing that around. She's like, "No, I was there. Sorry, you were gonna roll a knowledge planes. What'd you
rolled a
roll?
16.
16. Yeah.
Still doesn't work.
So you don't, it's basically enough that was like a planar shift, but you don't know anything else about it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are correct. The haunt took you partially into a different plane, but I unfortunately do not know more than that. Actually, would the +2 for the knowledge arcana for haunts would help? Is that
You'd still get the
same information? Okay.
So, so she's looking around Zenobia's room. None of her stuff's there. So then she starts kind of like walking back towards her room, like she's kind of like getting re-energized, and then she just like stops at the door and she's like, "Oh," and she like won't go in.
Roderick kind of walks by, just putting a hand on her shoulder, and walks in first.
And she twitches. And she says, "I was in there for 5 days. I wrote. I was writing. I think. I can't remember."
Zenobia says, here's all your papers.
While you are in the room, you also notice Kendra has taken the time to clean the blood off the walls, and so there's no reminder of the blood as of right now.
Oh, that's good.
Well,
So no heal check.
I hope one of you guys checked on it.
Could I have
Kept
done a
a
heal
sample.
check while
There's no way to tell
nothing
what
to
type
know.
of it's
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah.
There's no source
Yeah.
nearby to tell what it was from.
Yeah.
It smells coppery.
Gross. So, she's not gonna step in, and she's just gonna be like, my she's kind of like gesturing forward, sort of half-heartedly, like, my clothes. I need my clothes, and she's kind of doing that, like, not really.
We'll get them moved.
Like she's moving her head, like leaning her head down, not really looking in the room.
Kendra's also in the room. She's been tidying up everything, make sure that the blood is taken care of. If you'd like, we can move your things to another room, either with myself or with Zenobia, if that would make you feel more comfortable, so you're not alone.
And she kind of like shakes her head. She's almost crying again. She's like, Zenobia.
Yes.
She's got a really big.
I've got plenty of room in my dresser.
She's got a really big sword. She doesn't seem to use her bed.
So it'll be okay.
Is there blood in the carafe? Like bloody water?
She's already cleaned it out.
But was there?
There was.
Oh, it's so creepy. She was in this weird ass prison. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets dressed. She wants to, like, she's really distracted and wants to go to the temple.
I was going to say, it's like 7 now. Or actually,
Yeah.
8.
7, 8
Yeah,
ish.
Maybe 8
there's
p.m. now.
there's probably time because you know that
It's on the way.
it's on the way, and you basically have heard that this is happening overnight.
Yeah. So she's feeling very, like, non-negotiable about this. Like, she's like, I have to go to the temple.
Okay.
She probably almost faints down the stairs. She hasn't eaten in 7 days.
We take care of all this
days.
normal stuff, and you get to drink and eat. And
Okay, so all of that happens. More time passes. And we'll pick this up next week.